Okay, I thought this used to like give me a time countdown. I'm gonna have to look into that because I never know if I'm just totally live or if I'm waiting for it to load. So, hi there. Welcome to Live with Heidi Mine. Real quick, this is your 1 to 2 minute warning. I'm going to check that the live is up on Facebook and YouTube. So go grab your favorite drink before we get started. And I will also say I do have my mini split going for the air conditioning. I think it was 88 here today. So I don't know how that's going to sound in the background, if this microphone is going to pick that up. I don't know what that is going to do. So if anybody hears something in the background and it is annoying, let me know and I can shut that off pretty quickly. So it looks like I am live on Facebook. Okay, sounds like I've got some volume there. And I've got my comments up. And moderation's great. It looks like I'm up on YouTube and I do have volume there. So I'm going to turn that off and down so we don't have that going on anymore. So I apologize if I look a little teary-eyed. Allergies are in full effect here. Ironically, I was thinking Monday, oh, my allergies haven't been as bad as I thought they were going to be. And then like it hit me like a ton of bricks. So that's what I get for thinking that. What can you do? Hey, hi, how are you? I'm Heidi. I am a work-at-home handmade business owner at HeidiMine.com, as well as a homeschool mom of 11-year-old and 13-year-old girls. I think that's how I decided I'm going to say that moving forward. I go live here on Facebook and YouTube on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Pacific. Notice I don't say daylight or standard time. People here in California get daylight and standard time really confused. I'm going to go rogue here and I'm going to tell you that I am not a fan of daylight savings time. Don't love it, kind of hate it. It gets me all off of my schedule. Like the first week I'm okay, and then after that it's donezo for me. And I know that they want to get rid of standard time, which seems so bizarre to me, but whatever. So that's my rant on daylight savings time, but I'm always Pacific time, regardless of if it's standard or daylight savings. During the live, I share about things going on with my business, with homeschooling, and in our personal lives. Be sure to follow on Facebook or subscribe on YouTube to get notifications when I post videos or when I go live. And feel free to hit the like or the thumbs up button, as this helps more people just like you see the videos and come hang out. If you are joining me today live, please comment with #live. If you are watching on the replay or the recording, comment with #replay. This helps me know when people are watching and if I need to change up my times or my days. And if you aren't already subscribed, be sure to check the link. It should be pinned. I can see it pinned on Facebook. I don't think it's pinned on YouTube. Let me add that in here. Oh, can I see the link? I'm not going to add it on YouTube. I will add it later when the video is published permanently. But when you sign up for the email list, it signs you up for updates about new products, blog posts, sales, and other fun things going on. And if you joined me last week, you know that in May, I am really going to be pushing myself to put more content on YouTube moving forward. Oh, I do have the link here. Let me see if I can grab this from one screen. No, not you, just you. Copy. Oh, I think I can paste. I think I just put the link on YouTube. Yay me. I had it in my show notes. That's why show notes are so important. So I am going to try to make tonight's live a little shorter just because of the allergy issue. And I'm going to keep touching my face and it's just going to bother me. So here we go. I cleaned my dining room today. That was a whole process. The cats have been throwing things off of my homeschool cart. They have made messes on the floor. It was just a hot mess. So I got that cleaned up. I got my dining room table mostly cleaned. So now I can finish the recordings that I needed to do so that I have content for YouTube. Because I have the sketch boxes I've been talking about, the KiwiCo subscription boxes, which I did just cancel my subscription. I didn't realize it was going to renew in May. I'm pretty sure I signed up for KiwiCo in July of 2022. I'm like 99% sure that I did because, oh, maybe I didn't. Maybe I subscribed in June. I think I subscribed in June. Basically, because our homeschool generally, our charter school generally covers that subscription. But my kids haven't really been into it that much. And obviously I've got like 3 boxes that we haven't even, well, it would be 9 boxes we haven't even opened yet. So there's really no point in just stacking boxes in my house. So I think next year we are going to switch up to Mel Science subscription. They have a bunch of different options for homeschool families. So I'm going to be looking at that over the summer. And then once we start getting that, then I'll have it. But I know that I have plenty of KiwiCo boxes that I have not opened, that I have enough content to keep me going until I start getting Mel Science. So I'm excited about the dining room because like I clean it and then it just gets destroyed. So I'm hoping the way I cleaned it this time, it'll be good this time. We'll see. On the schedule this week is my living room and my kitchen. I don't know about you, but I feel like the living room and kitchen are just like the area, well, the kitchen for sure. I think in every home, it's like the area that's never clean. I mean, I could totally rattle off the people in my head that I know their kitchens are clean right now. But like my kitchen, it's this never ending spiral of work. And I know that part of that has just been the reorganization process over the last year. Things weren't really where I wanted them to be. So that has been a work in progress. But then I've got one kid that will always put her dishes in the dishwasher and one kid that just can't seem to remember. And ironically, that's the kid that unloads the dishwasher. So I don't know. We're working on chores and stuff. But cleaning my living room is actually the zone this week for Fly Lady. So I have been recording the work that I've done in that room. I did see that on the list is that I have to dust all of my shelves and tchotchkes. and I don't know if I'll talk about this in the video, in the editing, but my living room is set up in a way, currently, the walls and the decor, that my husband really had set it up over the years. And we are a family that is huge about Disney, very big Disney fans. And he had gone to Disneyland a lot more than even I did growing up. So he had a lot of collectibles. And then in the almost 30 years we were together, we had a lot of collectibles together. And at one point he decided that he wanted to put it all in the living room. And at first I was kind of okay with it. Like he just put the stuff up and it was fine. It was cool. People like it. They like talking about it. We have a lot of really neat things. Mostly we were fans of the Haunted Mansion and Pirates of the Caribbean. So a lot of our decor that we put up is Haunted Mansion specifically, but we have like ride posters and just all sorts of things. So I'm going off on a tangent. Basically, what Fly Lady had suggested is to go through and pull the things down that like aren't bringing you joy anymore, and pack them away. And right now, my problem is I have too much packed away. I don't have any more pack away space. So I'm attempting to dust the things just to get the dust off. But I won't actually be doing that part of Fly Lady this go round, because I just don't have anywhere else to put them than where they are. But maybe as I go through and dust things, I will do some up close video, because generally I set my camera up and it just kind of records the whole room. But maybe I'll go through and I'll do some up close images or recordings of the stuff that we have, because we do have really cool stuff, and a lot of it you can't get anymore. We have cars from Ride Makers, which closed pre-2020. Disney had all these plans and whatever. We have things from the ESPN zone in Anaheim, which also closed pre-2020 because of Disney's plans. We never like finished a collection though. Like they would do like pins or coins or whatever, and we would get like a few months of them, and then we're in Northern California. Yeah, East Bay Area. So we couldn't go every single month as much as we would have liked to have. So I have a lot of randomness going on. But, you know, someday maybe the kids will sell it and pay off their education or something, or a house. You never know. So that's a fun little thing that I'm working on. So that's kind of the home updates. We did have, for people that are friends with me in real life, we had a little bit of a plumbing issue. I know, the plumbing, it's never ending. The faucet in the shower was leaking. It was dripping, just dripping. And I went to Ace Hardware, and the poor people at the hardware stores, they have no idea my skill level. And I don't feel like I need to give them like my entire job history to qualify myself. Like I do lead in with, I'm not a plumber, because I'm not a plumber. I'm not going to pretend like I'm a professional at this. But the guy was really trying to talk me out of doing the repair myself. And then when I got home, I talked to my dad, and my dad's like, you could totally do this yourself. But then the drip went away. So I don't know if I'm going to do it before it starts dripping again, or if I'm going to wait till it starts dripping again. Because it's something with like the washer in the, like for the handles, it's really old. My house is old. Everything's old. So yeah, but I was really proud of myself. I found out where the main water shut off was for the house. So at least I know that much, right? Like that's a thing. So there's that. The physical fitness tests for our charter school are finished. Like for me, that was like, I talked about this last week, so I don't want to go super into it, but we all know that I had like this whole like thing about physical fitness tests in school. Not a fan. But the way that our school had it set up for the kids to do it, it was super fun. My kids did really well, I feel like. I mean, you know, it's not like they were going for records or anything. They got done what they needed to get done. But we told one other mom that her daughter has some classes in person with my oldest. And she wasn't really like wanting to do the things. So we figured, oh, it's better if they do it together. And then I'm just totally forgetful. And my good friend, Sarah, You can check out her YouTube channel, At Home with Sarah Jane. I forgot that one of her daughters is in one of the grades that needed to do the test, and she happened to show up while we were there and like just getting started. So it was great because her daughter got to hang out with my kids as well. And they really just looked like they had a lot of fun for something that I don't think would have been fun otherwise. So I was proud of all of the kiddos that did their best. But I'm definitely glad that it's over. And we only have one more month of school. My youngest is done with any in-person classes. My oldest only has 3 classes left. And like one of those is going to be like their final something. So I don't think I've ever looked forward to the end of a school year as much as I'm looking forward to the end of this school year. I'm good. I'm ready for it to be done. I think I just need to regroup in my brain. So like that's where I'm at with that. And then for business, like I said, I'm going to try to keep it really short tonight. So business updates are just that I am preparing for my plan to launch as of May 1st for my YouTube channel. So I'm working on some t-shirts to put in my shop this week. So there will be an email going out this week for Friday, I think, for new t-shirts. I've got some for, there were so many. I have to like break up the different styles because there were just so many different things. I believe, I can't remember if I already did the reading ones. There were like some book nerdy ones that I may have already launched. But I know I have some Father's Day ones. I have like coffee drinker ones because we all know I'm the coffee drinker of all coffee drinkers, sort of. I think there's some more plant ones. So there's just like a fun mix of new shirts. I think my plan is I'd like to do shirt listings every 2 weeks. I will be pulling the stickers and the water bottles and tumblers eventually. I'm not going to be listing any new designs for those. It's a lot of work putting the listings together, editing the photos and then putting the listings together. And I just don't feel like they're getting, I don't feel like they're landing. I'll just be honest. I don't feel like they're landing. I don't feel like they're something that my target audience is really into. And if someday that changes, I can bring them back. But for now, I really want to focus on getting back to sewing. I see a box of pens that looks like it's going to tip over, so I have to remember to put that back. So for right now, I will be doing the t-shirts, and I think tote bags, because really the tote bags, it's the same design as the t-shirts. It's just showing you that I can put it on a tote bag or I can put it on a t-shirt. So if you ever see a t-shirt design that I don't have listed for a tote bag, you just contact me. I can create that listing. But I do want to get back to putting my stuff in the shop that is completely handmade by me. I was thinking about doing a video tonight. I have a couple of bins over on the side of showing you things that I had in my shop previously that I will be bringing back. I've been making a lot of notes recently about what I'd like to do in my shop, what I'd like to do for my business. And so that way I had a plan for moving forward. I don't have my notes from last week about what days things happen, but on Monday, I fully intend to have my new blog up, a new email out, and whatever video is supposed to post on Monday. I can't remember if it's cooking or cleaning, but it's one of those two. Tuesday will be the other video of cooking or cleaning, whichever one. The cooking video might be a little shorter because this week we've been doing either leftovers or well, it's only Wednesday. So I made macaroni and cheese tonight. I didn't record myself making macaroni and cheese. I just didn't. Maybe I will if I make it for lunch a different day this week. But yeah, I think Monday we had leftovers, and then Tuesday we got pizza because I was tired yesterday. I'm not gonna lie. So this week the cooking, the cook with me, might be a little short, but we'll see. We'll see what I pull out of left field. But the clean with me video should be pretty good. Of the living room, there's a lot to do in there, so that's a thing. Wednesdays will still be the live. I would really love to start doing Q&As on Wednesday, but we'll see how that works. I may have to do my own questions and answers until I have more people hanging out with me to ask me questions that can be answered, which is fine. It's totally cool. So I'm watching myself in the recording delay, and I keep seeing myself touch my face. I'm not loving it. Thursdays will be the unboxings, which is fine. Fridays are going to be a recorded work with me. So you will see more of this sewing room. The first few work with me videos are probably going to be a lot of me cleaning and organizing this room because it needs work. It needs a whole lot of TLC. I would definitely love to be able to sew during those, and so I might be able to do that, but I have to do maintenance on my commercial machine, which I'm not sure if I want to do right now. It's a lot of work. But I do have 2 single needle machines, so I might be able to put stuff in those and run those while I'm working. We'll see. And then also the sew with me on Saturdays. I really, really am hoping to have the first sew with me is really just going to be a walkthrough of digital patterns, of PDF patterns, not digital, PDF. My phone dropped. It appears I'm still recording. I just want to pick it up because I have 3 different things going on here. Okay. Are you going to stay? No, you're not, because... No, don't. Oh, Heidi, the hot mess. Here we go. I should really take the case off. What you doing? Okay. We're good? Okay. I'm talking to the phone. I have a bunch of different things up. I have my iPad that has my script and YouTube. I have my old phone where I can see comments on Facebook. And then I have my current phone where I can actually watch what's recording as it's recording. Too many tabs open on these windows. So the first sew with me video will actually not be sewing. It's just going to be an introduction to PDF patterns, and I'll show you kind of some of the freebie things that the companies I use have to offer that are sewing related, but not actually sewing. And yeah. And then I gave myself a little bit of a challenge for my work with me days because I feel like I'm going off topic a lot right now, but since I'm already on this train of thought, getting back into my business, I could pick stuff to make. I could say, oh, I'm going to make XYZ designs. But what happens is that my brain says, but Heidi, what about this other thing that you could be making? And you need to add this other thing because it goes with the first thing or the second thing or whatever. So to prevent myself from like going on a complete overload of ideas, I picked one designer that I truly love their designs for embroidery. And I made my list going back from the beginning. She started selling embroidery designs in 2016. And I'm going to be going through my purchases, my oldest purchases, all the way to my newest purchases. I have well over 2,000 purchases from her. Yeah. So, or maybe 2,000 designs, maybe not 2,000 purchases, but either way, I have a lot of stuff from her. I love her stuff. It's all stuff I intend to put in my shop. So what better way to start is start at the beginning. And that's what I'm going to do. So that will be a process to work through. But yeah. So what I chose to talk about tonight, other than the half hour that I've already spent talking to you about all the things, is, I don't know. I know I do a small introduction at the beginning of every video telling you who I am, but I don't know that I've ever done like a true, like, this is who I am. I know I have done a video about my business and like how I came up with my business name. Didn't I? Pretty sure I did. I'll have to check. And if I didn't, then maybe I'll do that next month. But basically, who I am and what brought me to this point today in the world. I was born in 1977, and I am a huge Star Wars fan. The original Star Wars, not... I was okay. I'm a huge Star Wars fan for the original 3 movies. Okay? Huge fan. I was okay with the next set of 3 movies, more so than most people I know. Like, I know everybody had the big to-do about Anakin Skywalker, and nobody liked the kid that played him, and then nobody liked the older kid that played him, whatever. I don't know. I thought it was okay. I mean, rewatching it after I've heard people complain about it, I'm like, yeah, maybe they were a little flat. But it's make-believe. Like, you do need to use some of your own imagination, in my opinion. I think I've talked about the final trilogy that I've never watched. I started watching episode 7, and big spoiler alert, if you've never watched 7, you either don't care or this shouldn't be a spoiler. When Han Solo is killed, like, first of all, Kylo Ren and his bizarre obsession with Darth Vader's helmet, that was weird. And I really was kind of like, I don't know if I want to watch it moving forward. But then when Kylo killed Han Solo, I literally got up and walked away. I've never watched the end of that movie. I don't care to. I was done. And don't get me started about how Han Solo wanted to not, or Harrison Ford wanted to like not be Han Solo after like the first or second movie. I don't really care. He's an actor. Do your job, collect your paycheck, move on with your life. You don't get control over when this character lives and dies. He's not your character, believe it or not. But I was like, I'm done. I'm just done. I'm done with all of it. I've never watched the other things. We kind of started to watch The Mandalorian a little bit, but at the time, am I frozen on YouTube? I might be frozen on YouTube, and I apologize if I am. Not that you would know. Well, I'm still current on Facebook, so I don't know what's going on with YouTube. Maybe it's just my iPad. So, at the time that The Mandalorian was first coming out, like the first season, my husband and I had tried to watch it. He's not like a dramatic, or he was not a like dramatic show kind of watcher. Like, it's hard to explain. He liked things that were very comedic. Those were the movies we watched, were just comedy. And like we would watch Law and Order, like every iteration of Law and Order. But that, other than that, he was very much into sports, and that's fine. He just didn't really like to follow the storylines that much. So I think we only watched 1 or 2 episodes of Mandalorian, and then he lost interest. And honestly, it was just really hard for me to get into TV shows because I was constantly getting interrupted. So I've never come back to The Mandalorian. I might. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I'm a basic Star Wars fan. Somewhere in our collection of games, we have Star Wars Trivial Pursuit, which I feel like this version came out right as they were relaunching episodes 1 through 3. So really, a lot of the trivia is just about the original 3 episodes. So I kill at that game. I'm awesome. Well, I was way back when I was like a teenager in my 20s. I don't know if I'd be so good anymore. The memory's going. I also share the same birthday as Robin Williams, Edward Herman, and Don Knotts. And I attribute my amazing sense of humor to this fact. 1 year, I was somewhere between 25 and 30, I want to say. I think it might have been before I was married. It might have been before I was 25. My dad and my stepmom at the time wanted to take me to see The Lion King in San Francisco, the musical, because we are also huge Elton John fans. And so that was my birthday gift. It happened to be playing on my birthday, so we went on my birthday. And we went to a restaurant called Ruth Chris Steakhouse. And if you know anything about Robin Williams, you know that he lived in that general vicinity of, I forget where he actually lived, but it was the San Francisco vicinity. And there were, I don't know, like it was his birthday also. So I kept telling the waiter, like, if Robin Williams shows up, you can have him come see us. So I always thought that was funny. But yeah, I loved Robin Williams. Absolutely. And Don Knotts was a huge part of my childhood, watching TV shows. And even Edward Herman, I realized later that, like, Lost Boys and not Dirty Dancing. That was the other one. But he was definitely very big. And Gilmore Girls. I mean, Gilmore Girls was when I realized that we shared the same birthday, because I'm like, he's so amazing. But yeah, so I just think that I get all of my comedic timing because of my birthday. That's it. Other things just about me. I put a lot of stuff about like my jobs for some reason. I've always worked in customer service, always. I've worked for 2 pizza parlors. I've worked for Burger King. Burger King was my very first job. When I started working there, they put me in the drive-thru, and they said it was the most difficult spot to work in the entire restaurant. I loved it. It was very fast-paced. It was right up my alley. I worked for Joann Fabrics for a while, both in the East Bay and in Northern California. I worked for a bridal shop for quite a few years. And then I worked for my dad for 13 years in his HVAC business. Fun fact, he asked me to answer phones for him when I was 14. He was trying to start his own business, and he was doing some weekend work. And so I was at home, and I wasn't old enough to get a job anywhere else. And so he said, just answer the phones. And the very first woman that called me, she was a piece of work. She called screaming and cussing at me. And I held it together while I was on the phone with her. And I just said, let me get a hold of the technician. I will give you a call back. And she's just like being a total psycho. And I finally get off the phone with her, and I just start bawling my eyes out and have to call my dad. And that was it. That was the beginning and end of my short career for my dad at that point. He loved telling the story about how I cried when the customer called. I'm like, she was screaming at me and I was 14. And then I ended up working for him for 13 years as an adult. I was in my 30s when I started working for him. So I'd worked a lot of other places. I worked my way into management at most of those other jobs. And then I started working for him, and I did that for 13 years. When I was 20, I was working, that was the beginning of me working 2 jobs consecutively for almost 20 years. I like keeping busy. I wasn't even making that great of money. I just really liked keeping busy. So I worked like at the bridal shop and the pizza parlor at the same time. I worked for Joanne Fabrics in the pizza parlor at the same time at one point. I worked for my dad, and I started my own business. But then I also worked for a maternity clothing store for a while I was working for him. I worked for a low-income housing company. Like, I've done a lot of different jobs. So I've had a lot of jobs. I just have. That's me. Let's see. I am very handy with tools. My dad and probably my mom always taught me how to just do things, or maybe I just did it on my own. I don't know. I know how to use a level and a hammer and a drill and a screwdriver. But I've also used a jackhammer. Trying to think of any other major power tools that I've used, but I think the jackhammer was like the biggest and scariest. And I didn't hurt myself. I did go from working for a bridal shop to working for my dad's HVAC business. So that was interesting. Mostly I ran the office for him. I was scheduling jobs and doing the paperwork, but I helped run my own ductwork under my house. Back then I was okay going under houses and doing the crawl jobs. I just, don't get me on a ladder. I did not want to be anywhere near a ceiling or any of that. So once they found out that I could actually do ductwork, they started having me help on some of the jobs. So I did a few jobs with my brother and with my dad. Mostly they would just have me crawl and pull the ductwork out, the old stuff, and then I crushed it down and put it in like the van or whatever, and then brought them new runs, and they did the actual like stuff, securing and whatever. I did run electrical line under my own house once with supervision. I've installed ceiling fans. Like, I just do the things. It's fun. But that's like why I didn't want to tell the plumber guy or the hardware store guy, like, I could change out the washer on the bathroom handle. I can do those things. I don't do anything with cars. I put the gas in the car. Everything else I leave to the professionals. I don't know how to do car stuff. I do like Halloween, but I don't like scary movies. Um, I just don't. It's a thing. I love Halloween. Um, and my idea of scary is totally different than other people's idea of scary. Like, I don't necessarily, I'll watch Stephen King movies, and I read Stephen King books, and I don't mind like certain things that are scary. I like psychological scary. I don't know why. But I've never watched like Friday the 13th or Chucky or Nightmare on Elm Street. I've just never watched those movies. Sharks freak me out. That's not on my list, but sharks absolutely freak me out. I used to have nightmares that my bed was like a raft and that it was surrounded by sharks. I didn't want to get out of my bed if I woke up because I was sure there were sharks there. I watched Deep Blue Sea. I think I was 20. I was 20 or 21, and I watched Deep Blue Sea, and I slept with the lights on for 3 days. I was so freaked out. Those were smart sharks. That was even worse. I learned to sew by watching my mom use this machine actually right here. That is the machine that my father bought for her as a wedding gift. Either, I believe in 1976. I have the receipt somewhere even. That's how OCD I am about that machine. And I do all of my own maintenance on this machine. My dad did the maintenance on it before me. I'm not sure who did the maintenance after they got divorced, because there was a period of time that my mom had the machine. If she watches this later, who maintained the machine, Mom? Let me know. The serger back here, I've never had to maintain it, but mostly I just clean it. I clean the dusty stuff out. I do the maintenance on my commercial machine. I don't do the maintenance on my single needles. They are not designed for people to do their own maintenance. So I don't recommend it, actually. Don't do it. I started my machine embroidery with a Singer machine that I purchased on eBay for about $300. I used to make, and I know that's in here somewhere, I've always loved sewing. So I'll talk about the other sewing thing. Where's the other sewing thing? So I went to a lot of different schools, and at some of the schools, they taught me a little bit about hand sewing. So I learned that young. And then I just kind of learned to use the sewing machine from my mom and my aunt. And my grandmother had given me a sewing machine at one point, my maternal grandmother. She had an old machine, not like old, but like 70s old. And I used that a lot. And so in high school, I really wanted to not have, I think we had 6 periods in high school. I think that's what our school day was. I wanted to drop the 6th period and like go home early because I worked my senior year, so I could pick up extra hours. And I was told that I couldn't by my dad. So I had to take a filler class. So I took sewing because I knew it was going to be an easy A. I made a few outfits that I did actually wear to school. And there was always this joke that I had with a kid in my language arts class. Back then we called it English, but it's language arts now. Because my outfits always had pockets. And so he'd ask me like every day, did you make that outfit? And if I made it, then I'd say, yeah, and it has pockets. Because that's what you say when you make your clothes. Yes, and it has pockets. So I made a few outfits. They were like so loud and obnoxious. It was the 90s. It was like mid 90s. And like one of them was like a vest and a pair of palazzo pants. And it was just all sunflowers. And I loved it, but it was loud. And I also made my senior ball outfit, which I know I've talked about before. I wore pants. I loved it. I was totally comfortable. I still have that somewhere, not in here. I have some stuff right here next to me. And I was like, no, it's not here. So I started, there it is. I started my business making baby things. And really it wasn't even for the babies necessarily. I made diaper bags, and I made some baby blankets. And every once in a while, I might make like a bib, or I think I made my sister-in-law some covers for breastfeeding. And everybody's like, oh, you should sell these. You should sell these, which is always funny to me because people say that and then you go and you try to sell it and then nobody wants to buy it. It's just how it is. And I thought, oh, if I could get an embroidery machine, like people would really love that because I could put names on things. So that's when I got my first embroidery machine. I had just had my first child and I was working 2 jobs. She was like 4 months old and I was back at work. I was working 2 different jobs at the same time. So I had a little extra money and my husband had said, go ahead and, get the embroidery machine you want. So I got it super cheap and it was this horrible machine. It was good for the time. It was good for learning, but the hoop was like an off size. So I always had to resize everything to get it to fit. It was really weird. And so I've gone through 4 other single needle machines before I had the setup that I have right now. 2 of them I blew up motors because I overworked them. But when I had that first kind of janky machine, I was making the baby things. I was making they weren't real quilts. They were blankets the top was pieced together like a quilt, but it wasn't actually like quilted all the way through. It was like fleece and flannel. I feel a sneeze coming. A shocker. So I got the embroidery machine and I was making some things for different friends. And I was able to put their names on them. Or I think I made something for my niece when she was born and I put like her birth date or her baptism date or like a poem and the date. I can't remember. It's been a hot minute. So I was doing more with it and I decided that I wanted to, at that point, like at the point that I'm doing all these things, my kids were a little bit older and I thought, oh, I want to make some educational stuff for them. Wouldn't it be fun if I found some embroidery designs to make a version of a paper doll, but out of felt? And that was what really launched my business, is that I found a few different companies, or small business owners that were making designs for what they called non-paper dolls. And it's a flat felt doll. And I started making those and I just loved it. I thought it was just the most fun thing ever. Ironically, I didn't sell as many of those as I thought I would. Like I put them in my shop and whatever. But they were decent sellers. I had a few really good orders for them, but overall they weren't my hottest seller. I did eventually start doing costume masks, and those were the big sellers. Those really launched my business when I was Stuff and Junk by Heidi. So that was fun. It was a great experience. I loved doing that sewing. I still have a lot of stuff I have to get rid of, but it was definitely a really good experience for me to do. When I worked at Joanne Fabrics, I used to love making costumes and special event gowns. And I have 3 different wedding gowns that are in progress in my to-do pile. So I do have 3 different, wedding gowns started, along with all kinds of other special occasions dresses, just all over the place, in different closets, in different bins, everywhere. I don't like sewing zippers. Ironically, I have my sister-in-law's mom. She used to always hire me to replace zippers for her. And I just hate zippers. I hate zippers. I don't like sewing them. I do sell zipper bags, which is so funny to me. But I've gotten better at them. I just don't like them. They're not fun. And just too much of a perfectionist. And if I see one stitch that's not completely where it should be, it just bugs me. A few other things. When I bought my wedding gown, I was working for the bridal shop when I got married. And when I bought the wedding gown, it's a funny story. There was a different gown that I loved originally, and it had this platinum band along the top, and the rest of it was white. And I just loved that. I loved the platinum, and it had like lace and beading on top of the platinum. So that's what I wanted for my wedding gown. And so a few years later, when I was actually getting married, there was a gown that was brand new, and I saw it in the book for pre-order, and I'm like, that's my wedding gown. Didn't even need to try it on. I knew that was my wedding gown. The owner happened to be getting a sample, so I did get to try it on before I purchased it, but I knew I was going to love it regardless. And that was my wedding gown, but it wasn't offered in that two-tone for white and platinum. So when I got the gown, my boss kept saying, don't take it home. Don't do the work. Just wear it as it is. We'll do something else. I took it home and I took it apart. Like there was a cuff here along the top. I took the cuff off. I recut it in the platinum satin, and then I put all the lace and beading back on it and attached it back to the dress. And then it had like a border of lace and beading along the hem, and it came up in the back. And I took that whole trim off and I put platinum satin on that part too. Oh, it was a lot of work. I loved it though. I thought it was fun. My boss was like, what are you doing? But I got it all back on. Those are the insane things that I do. And I talked about the embroidery machines. I think I covered everything that was on my list. I think I did. So that's a little about me. That it's not just about my business specifically, because I'm pretty sure I did one that's just about my business, or maybe it's just about the business name. I don't know. But I covered a lot of stuff tonight. It has to do with myself and my business and all the things. But if you ever have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments, and I can always either reply to them, or I will talk about it in the following live the next week. I'm trying to think of anything else I need to say, but I think that's it. So I think that's all. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. If you haven't already, be sure to give this video a like or a thumbs up, follow or subscribe, and comment with #live or #replay. All of these interactions not only help to push out the videos to more people that would enjoy them, but they help me know what content you are enjoying the most. So be on the lookout. Again, if you haven't signed up for the email list, you want to get on that. I will be doing a little bit more emailing, maybe. Usually I send out an email on Mondays and on Fridays. I haven't done that as much over the last month. But with the new content coming out in May, I will be posting on social media about whatever's being uploaded, as well as putting that into emails. So be sure to sign up for those so that you see them. And yeah, I do have a goal this year. I would really love to hit 100 subscribers before the end of the year. I'd love to hit it for my birthday, but before the end of the year, it would be awesome. So I'm going to be working on some things to try to help get more subscribers on, this is on YouTube, because I have quite a few followers on Facebook. I will be working on some Facebook goals as far as building up my following on Facebook, on Instagram. I haven't posted to TikTok in a hot minute, so I should be posting there a little bit more. There's all kinds of different social media now that I'm still learning about. It's a lot. It's a whole lot. But we'll get there. We will get there. But it should be fun. Like, I want to do fun stuff so that people can see the fun part of the crazy of what I do. So I will talk to you later and have a great night. Bye.